Armstrong Entertainment. This kid really loves his horse.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Armstrong Entertainment. This is Chad, and I saw the movie War Horse. It stars Jeremy Irvine, Emily Watson, Peter Mullen, David Thewlis, Niels Aristrop, and Tom Hiddleston, and it's directed by Steven Spielberg. It's actually based off of a 1982 book, I believe, and also a 2007 play called War Horse, I'm assuming. It really did not interest me when I saw the preview. I mean, it looked like a horse running around in a war zone and a kid's love for his horse. Not that I'm not really into horses, but I'm not really into horses, actually. I don't know, it's just something I never really got into. And I wasn't dying to see this film until I heard it was going to be nominated for Best Picture and possibly win the Oscar for Best Picture. So I was like, ah, crap, I have to see this movie and I really don't want to. My expectations going into this movie were very low. Didn't really care about it. I just was basically seeing it to see it. It's about this young boy who basically raises his horse and takes care of him, and then the horse gets sold into the cavalry for World War I. And it's him trying to reconnect with this horse throughout this movie. I thought it was interesting how it was shot during World War I, because there's not a lot of World War I movies, and I thought it was kind of cool. At first I didn't know which war it was, because they didn't really give a date or a year, but you can kind of guess, so I thought that was interesting. This movie had certain moments that I absolutely loved. There's about 20 minutes of war, and all that I loved. Like, I want Steven Spielberg to make a World War I movie, you know, like Saving Private Ryan. It had those moments, but only about 20 minutes of the movie. And it had that feel like when they're rushing the field and getting shot at and everybody's like being blown to smithereens, you're like, holy crap, this is intense, just like Saving Private Ryan. But it only lasts for about 20 minutes, and the other 2 hours of the movie is this ridiculous, cheese-infested story of how this horse is basically being passed around from owner to owner and his journey throughout World War I. Oh, another thing I should mention about this movie is something my mom was a little worried about, was the horse cruelty. There is some cruelty with these horses. She had to close her eyes for a few scenes. There's about 4 scenes in the movie that are really hard to watch if you're really into horses. And I know a ton of people who are really into animals and against cruelty, so there's definitely 4 scenes in this movie that you will want to close your eyes for. It was okay. I mean, there were certain storylines I liked more than others. There's one particular storyline that I absolutely hated. Okay, I'll just say this real quick. There's this little girl, her acting was so horrible. She was supposed to be French, but she had the worst accent. Her acting was horrendous. It totally took me out of the movie. I don't know why Steven Spielberg used this chick. I don't know if he's like her godfather or something, but she was awful and she almost ruined, well, she did. She took me out of the movie completely for a good 20 minutes. All of her scenes, she took me out. The acting in this movie was something since I brought up the French girl, the lead actor, who's probably only in it for about an hour and a half, he was really, really good. I was really drawn into his story. He was very endearing. I thought he was a great actor. I actually looked him up, and he hasn't done much at all. I don't know how Spielberg finds these kids, but he was really good. I really enjoyed his performance. However, the accents in this movie were also another big killer for me. It's a personal preference for me. The movie takes place, I don't even remember where, in an English-speaking country, I believe, and the war is obviously not. So it's like Germans speaking English, French people speaking English people speaking English. Everybody was speaking English, and in my head I was like, okay, well, they wouldn't be understanding each other right now because they don't all speak the same language. There was even a moment in the movie what was so annoying. The guy is like, one of the soldiers is talking to the German guy and saying, wow, your English is really good, and the German guy's like, yeah, I know. And what? Why did you even I don't know. I would have rather had subtitles, but I guess again, it's personal preference. Overall, this movie, if it gets nominated for Best Picture or wins Best Picture, I don't even, I mean, obviously I'm not going to do anything drastic, but I would be very, very disappointed. I did not like this movie, but I realized that there's definitely an audience for this movie. People who want to go see uplifting, happy movies. My mom didn't even like this movie that much, and she owns a horse, and she loves this type of crap, and she didn't even like that much. I personally really didn't like it. I would give it a 3 stars, and I'm only saying that because I realize I can appreciate the cinematography and the scenes and stuff, but overall I hated the story. I don't get it. I just, maybe it was unrelatable to me. It was between a horse and this kid, and it was awkward. It was like watching this love story between a horse and his kid. And I thought that's what Equus was about. I don't know. I did not like it. I'll give it a 3 stars, and I feel like I'm being slightly nice. I definitely wouldn't check this movie out if I were you, unless you're really into horse movies. War horse. More like bore horse. Boring.